Meeting her family was the worst night of this girl's life. It was a nice spring day. A young girl and her mother were going to visit her family on spring break. The girl's family was divorced, so the girl's father lives in a house in a town very far from where the girl and her mother lived. They decided to drive there. While on the way, they stopped at a dollar store for a few things and snacks. While the girl was getting some snacks, she suddenly spotted a very tall woman in a black sweater and a hoodie staring at her directly. She got pretty frightened and ran off to find a police officer. When she went outside, she found two police officers. She told the cops about what happened, and they looked around in the dollar store to find the person gone. She wasn't there. So the cops didn't believe her and told her off in a very strict and weird way. After that, they took her to her mother and told her about what happened. The way that they told her was very stern and weird. But then they forced the girl to promise to never make a false alarm again. After that, the girl and her mother went back to the car and continued the ride to her father's home. During the ride, the girl's mother had a very long talk with her about what happened. Her mother's tone was very angry and off, and unexplainably angry way. When they arrived at the house, it seemed like a very normal house, and innocently. The girl's dad and new stepmother greeted them both with expressions that were very friendly and weird and unexplainably friendly. The stepmother didn't smile, but she gave her a hug and said it was great to finally meet her. The father's expressions showed more emotion, and he hugged her and kissed her, but something about his face was a bit off. He had a very wide smile that looked like he seemed a bit over exaggerating. The house was more normal than it was outside. It had a rich, fancy house type atmosphere to it. A little while later, the girl met her stepmother's uncle. He was a very grumpy and socially awkward old man. He was almost bald and he had a bunch of goosebumps running up in his arm. They all had dinner, which was very strange at certain moments, but other than that, it was good. After dinner and dessert, they watched a family movie together. The girl tried not to make any eye contact, but she could tell that her stepmother kept looking at her on a few different occasions. At one point, the girl finally looked back at her, and the stepmother looked away for a minute until she turned back to the TV. The stepmother was giving her the most judgmental stare she had ever seen. It made her feel more uncomfortable. At the end of the night, the girl and her mom were in the basement, which had an attached bedroom. The girl's mom was was in the bathroom, left her laptop on the nightstand. The girl saw that her mother got a message from the police. For some reason, feeling a bit snoopy, she looked at it to read it. The message was anything but what she expected, and it changed the whole entire night and her life completely. Briefly on the screen it says, "Message to Mom, from the police. Do you think she suspects anything yet?" But the message quickly switched to two new messages. The girl wanted to read what was said before that, but her mom's laptop was shut off due to low battery. The girl could actually feel her heart pounding like crazy right now. The girl's mom came back into the room. The girl gave her mom kind of like a cold shoulder because the words were just racing in her head. The girl's mom seemed to have noticed. She put her laptop on the charger and messaged them back. Before turning off the lights and going to sleep. The girl couldn't sleep though. She kept rolling around, tossing and turning for hours, wondering what that message meant, and if it was about her. And what the heck was up with her stepmother? It was exactly 3 a.m. in the morning when the girl heard her mother get out of bed, but she was doing so very, very quietly. Normally the girl would find this as a kind gesture, but under the circumstances, she was finding this more suspicious now. She didn't move. She pretended to be still asleep. She heard her mother come to her side of the bed and stand there for several moments, and then leaving the room and walking downstairs. Then the girl heard someone else walking downstairs, and then another person, and two people came inside the house. Something was going on. The girl went over to the top of the stairs to listen to what's going on downstairs. There was a bunch of talking, but in very, very low voices. The girl walked down a few stairs quietly. The talking was coming from the kitchen downstairs. They sounded like they were planning something. The girl heard her mother say something like, "When I go back up, you stand by the door." Then she heard her stepmother say something. And then she heard the two officers say something. What was going on was starting to hit the girl straight directly in the face. Or at least what she thought what was going on. The girl ran back upstairs to her room to pack up all of her stuff and leave. As she was grabbing her mom's keys, she noticed something in the corner of the room. The girl turned on the lights, which exposed her stepmother's uncle in a chair in the corner of the room, blank expression on his face, behind his reading glasses, staring at her. The girl ran outside quickly as he ordered the police to go after her. When she sees the police coming after her, she starts screaming at them, saying, "You're all crazy," over and over 10 times, as she got into the car and put the car on drive right before it was even on, and floored out of the driveway back to the road. The girl didn't stop once except for gas, and at that gas stop she looked at her phone. The girl saw a text from her mom saying, "What the F happened?" The girl didn't reply. Not until later that night she got home. She wrote, "Listen, Mother, I don't know what you, our sick family, and those sick police officers are planning on doing to me. I don't want to know. Don't ever contact me or come near me again, and I won't report this." The girl only said that to her mom because she knew there was absolutely no proof at all of what happened. Or at least what might have been about to happen. Her mom never replied.